Dr. Mortimer? Mortimer. Fresh and buds now.
Fresh and
All right, folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh and Buds. I am Tommy Fresh, and you are all my buds, and joined now, as always, it is Elly Bird. How's it going, my friend? Welcome back to the show. We got a good one.
I think we do have a good one. I'm excited to talk about, I think, multiple of the things we're going to talk about today. Also, to actually answer the question, I'm doing pretty good. I'm like, uneventful day. Not that much going on, but I'm chilling. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be back for the first time of many.
Would this mean this is I guess the last week was the inaugural. This is the first not annual, but the first weekul. I don't know what the week would be.
That's a good question.
Yeah, well,
I guess just weekly. I was trying. Is there like a word that sounds more like annual or perennial or whatever?
Yeah, well, we'll work on that one. We'll get back to you with that all next week. But we got a great episode for you all. We're going to kind of talk about LSS's process, right? Like, should we trust it? Because, there's a lot of seeds of doubt that have been sowed over the years, not even just recently, but really what got us to think about it was the reveal of Mastery Pack Assassin, which we totally guessed last week when we recorded.
I totally didn't go, wow, there's no way they'll do that.
Yeah. No way. But, we're not going to really focus a lot on Mastery Pack Assassin, but we will talk a little bit about it. But then we're going to kind of talk about, our ideas about like different things that LSS kind of has done well. And then stuff that like maybe we're not so sure about, or the process has not kind of concluded at this point. But it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. But
I think so.
Yeah. Did you have a good week in Flesh and Blood, Elly?
Yeah. I've been having a lot of fun in Fab lately. I'm still on the Warrior train. I am definitely like, the more I play around with Mastery Pack Warrior and the more I play around with Olympia, I like tweeted about this. I was like, man, I never want to be the person who's like, we gotta ban this right now. But like, I've been playing a lot of Olympia. Yuki's been like working on Hala and a few other things, and we just keep playing these games where I'm like, I sit on my Kabuto until I have a rake back, and then I block with Kabuto, and it's worth like, an obscene amount because of like Beck and Steal and End Again and all of these other things involved. So I like block with Kabuto, it's worth like 2 + 10 or whatever. And then I play rake back with Dominate, and then I just get the Kabuto back. And you just do this like 3 times a game, and I just don't know how like warriors that want to attack twice, aka every warrior other than Olympia, is like ever supposed to beat that. I'm a little bit like, this is so toxic. Everyone I know who plays warrior religiously hates this hat. Like, please, James White, please kill this one. Like, I hate the hat.
I think that's totally valid. And I did see the post, and I was like, I was going to comment, and I was like, I'll wait till the podcast because
wait.
I see where you're coming from, but as somebody who's been playing a lot of Olympia, it's awesome.
Yeah, I know. It is sick. I was like, I had this thought talking to Yuki when we were like, I feel like whenever we're testing, we're not just playing games for fun. The goal is like to have like a real outcome. Like me and Yuki, and also just like I think like something the team does that I like a lot is like we always try to like have a reflection, have a takeaway from the games that we've played. And we were kind of like joking around about the Kabuto thing. And then at the end of it, we were just kind of like, man, the worst part of this is that like until the revamp of Olympia, every warrior player hated Kabuto, but now there is like a subset. Like now there is a faction of warrior players that are like, no, don't ban the hat.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's how I win.
But you know what? Honestly, it is funny. It's just like there's obviously with Olympia, you can recur a lot of other things. It's certainly not as powerful, but also like you start to think like, oh wow, like 3 Kabutos a game or whatever, or sometimes 4 is amazing. And, you know, Crown of Providence 4 times a game sounds pretty good too. You know, it's like
also
a lot
pretty good.
Yeah.
Not
just
worth 12
no,
4
no,
times,
no,
but
not
still
worth
pretty
that
good.
much. But yeah, that's that is, it's brutal. Honestly, I don't know if they ever will. It's just like this weird thing with Warrior that they were like, hey, here's this like really cool tech piece for your fellow warriors, you know,
Yeah.
and nobody else. Like, why couldn't that
I just really like
do something?
I really like to imagine that like there are like 2 people who really like Warrior in the dev room, and they play a ton of Warrior mirrors, and at some point they decided like, I think the thing that makes a Warrior mirror the most interesting is like getting time locked, like your turn just explodes.
Mhm.
Like, and like I see where they're coming from, right? Like obviously this is like people I've made up in my head. These are not real people. I've imagined a guy to get mad at, but like, it's like I feel like that has to be at least like 10% of the rationale. But then it's also like, if you go back and look at Warrior mirrors prior to like Bunton, Moment of Respite, which isn't even seeing play yet, but in like similar like hate pieces, they are very like 0 variance. Like you get a lead, you hold on to it, it's impossible to climb out. So they're like, I think there is a balance. I do hate that damn ass hat though. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I feel like, as somebody who's also been playing a lot of Warrior, and probably because I'm playing like Olympia, I don't have the same disdain for Kabuto because I'm on the good side of it. But Blunton, that card makes me.
That card's gross.
You're just like, surely they don't have the 3rd one right now. They did. And you're just
they
like,
always have it.
But you know, that's one that like I'm cool with staying around as long as Marionette's still around, because I feel like
I like Bunton.
Yeah, like, you know, there's definitely like some like use cases outside of the Warrior mirror, but it does.
I think Bunton's also like
Yeah.
something you can really play around. Like something I was reflecting on is like, I have a flurry, I need to sharpen and swing twice. I activate Hala, pitching a yellow, then my blue, and like I'm just safe. Like I'm just fine. The Bunton doesn't matter. I think like you can play around it a little bit more than the block 10 piece of equipment.
Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, you know, listen, I wonder if anything will come of it. Honestly, what we need to happen, Ellie, for that to like kind of come to fruition, I think at like Worlds, there needs to be like
it needs to happen on stream.
Crazy match on stream, if not multiple. But you know, we'll see.
I'll make it my mission. We'll do another like 9-1 CC Fi run on Olympia. We'll run that back, and I'll make it my mission to just like, even if my tournament implodes, just like rake back somebody 4 times in the Warrior mirror on stream.
Oh man, I mean, listen, rake backing like that many times in general it's just super sick. So yeah, I hope that happens, and I hope you're the one to do it, because that would be, because we prophesize it. I wish I had a lot more going on with Flesh and Blood this week. I had a very busy week, folks, but I did hang out with some Flesh and Blood people. We did a river float. That was cool. Shout out Craig for hosting. But, you know, it was a good time. But I have been, since our last conversation last week, started to eke my way away from Olympia and into what we talked about last week, is like Hala feels like the truth, right? Like that deck has this like crazy inevitability, and I've been kind of falling in love with her more and more as I jam games with her, and I'm super excited to play some more. But that is kind of my week in Flesh and Blood. But let's talk about some fresh faves. I kind of love what you brought to the table last week, where like, you know, kind of focusing more on the designs that we love in the game, whether, you know, whether it was like less is more or whatever. But, you know, I was thinking that we can kind of just like do that for a couple different cards. Sure. I have some lined up. Do you have some lined up, Ellie?
I can pull them from the ether.
All right, cool. Well, I'll start. Hala is what I'm
please.
loving. I just love everything about the sharpen mechanic. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't know about this. It's like, I was like trying to get out of the Dorinthia mindset and just, see the vision. And then you do it and you're just like, oh,
it feels good.
Great. This is
get
great.
Get like a very large like casino die, some kind of like big satisfying D6, just like drop it on your Zenith blade and just tick it up. That feels good.
I'm gonna be getting some Moncala gems from
Ooh, that's exciting.
yeah, bust that set out at some point. But loving Hala lately. Now in terms of equipment, kind of been thinking about a Hope Merchant's Hood. Is that what? Hope Merchant's Hood. The Sage staple, of course, for
sure.
aggro decks.
Okay. I was like still in the CC mindset, and I was like,
yeah. Well, listen, it has not been left out of some CC decks over the past
That's true.
5 or so years I've played. It snuck into a few, unfortunately. That means the deck was bad, but
sure,
that's how it goes. But I've been loving that piece of equipment in Sage, specifically Phi. Just like, it's so nice to like basically have these kind of combo decks, these aggro decks that go wide in this like young hero format. It's like, I gotta find a better hand, and this is my shot. And I love gambling, so maybe it's the brute player in me. And speaking of brute player, Ravenous Meat-Axe, been kind of loving how that weapon has evolved in the game right now, because it used to be kind of not a meme, but like it just was not, the de facto kind of weapon. But now you're seeing like Leviathan Meat-Axe, and obviously you're seeing, Rhinar Meat-Axe. And to be honest, it sounds crazy, I've seen Tough Nut play Meat-Axe. So it's like,
I can see that.
It's not.
It's all sixes. It's all sixes. I mean, if it's all yellows, it's probably all sixes.
Yeah. I've been loving that. And then like some like regular cards. And again,
oh yeah,
to go along with Hala, kind of a really cool way to introduce attack as a mechanic rather than just something you do. And then Overcrowded, I don't know. I just look at that card and I'm like, what? This was
I like that card a lot.
Super Slam's banger, right? Like that's gonna be the Hall of Famer for Super Slam, for me. But
I had like a very extended conversation with a friend. When Overcrowded got spoiled, he was just like, "This is the next like Warmongers. Like this is the blue block 3 that you need. Like it's gonna be $1 billion one day." And I did not believe him, and I've definitely eaten crow on that one. That card's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, there are metas where you play that, and there are metas where, or like I should say, there's always a meta where you can play Overcrowded and not Warmongers, right? So it's almost better than Warmongers in a way, and less annoying.
I'm thinking about what cards do I love right now. I'm kind of thinking about Usurp lately. I'm thinking about Revel in Runeblood. I love that card. That card is like, I like the design of that card because I think like the rate of it is actually like not that impressive. You kind of jump through multiple hoops for a 0 for 4, but it's like in heroes that have incentive to be making Rune Chance, which is, Vincent right now will be Runegate, Viscerai, like the original Viscerai had incentive to make Rune Chance with like Mordred Tide and the hero ability. I thought that card was really cool in both those heroes. I just love resolving that card. I think it's really fun. I love the art. The guy going, like losing his shit. I like that card a lot. Dow's in Runeblood. Also that one, same
That's
name.
the one we saw the art
word
for early, right? And
on the playmat, and it's like the like blood crazed lady like holding her sword down at the side. I like Dow's in Runeblood a lot. That's a card I've been thinking about in like new Viscerai. I'm really tempted to like put together some bullshit with like 9 Seeds of Agony, and you're just like seeds Dows for 4 and 7 or whatever. I like that card a lot. I'm thinking about Runeblade. We're entering Runeblade mode.
Yeah, we saw our first couple of spoilers the past couple of days, and it's very exciting. Notably, not a lot of Malice stuff yet. We're recording this on Tuesday, but probably by the time you all listen to it, you'll see some Malice stuff. But yeah, the Runeblade stuff looks sweet. And then the Leviathan stuff just looks, just awesome.
It's pretty cool. I really like what they're doing with the it's very clearly designed around Hexagore, right? Which I think is interesting. That's like kind of the curve with all of these consuming X cards. There's the one that's like, pay 1, banish this, next attack it's go again. Oh, I have 2 floating, and I've banished a 6 with Blood Debt. What am I possibly going to do with these 2 resources? They work really well with Hexagore in like 2 different ways, right? They like fill the Blood Debt so it stops hurting you sooner, and they curve out really nicely with it. The one that's like a 2-card 8 with it is also sweet. I want to see a card that as a cost or as part of the effect or whatever lets you banish a card from your hand for value. Like, let's say like a 0 cost non-attack that says like, as an additional, there's something similar to this, like Shade and Scream, but I think the banish is random. I want the banish to not be random so that I can play Slithering Shadowpede. I wanna banish Slithering Shadowpede from my hand, tunic and play it. That's really what I want out of Usurp. For Leviathan.
They better give it to us, because that's the one thing. Like, Shadowpede, first of all, one of the coolest Leviathan cards.
Yep.
Easily. And then they ban Artivore, rightfully so.
Definitely reasonable.
But like, Leviathan did nothing wrong, and the Shadowpede definitely didn't do anything wrong. It was totally cool. So, but yeah, no,
I guess
all these spoilers.
That's
are
also
fun.
my last fresh fave. To tie it back around, I'm thinking about Slithering Shadowpede. I love that card.
It's so good. It is so good, and I think they're probably thinking about that card at least a little bit. You would have to. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm excited about this spoiler season. It's a slower one this time around.
Yeah, we're doing the drip feed a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know what I like better. I don't know if I like just like all of them all at once or the drip feed. I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because I think maybe getting us to talk about it longer probably is better for whatever. I'm not sure.
For engagement.
Yeah, engagement,
For sales, whatever.
Yeah. Definitely the thumbnail of this is going to be we hate LSS and everything they do.
Yeah, everything sucks. I hate this game. Buy Riftbound now.
Oh my god. We won't get into that one, but I don't even know how that game works. But I've heard some stuff. It's
not for me. That's to not say anything negative. It's not for me. I didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, I heard it's about a game called League of Legends. Have you ever heard of this game?
I have heard of this game. I am also very proud to say I've never played League of Legends.
You never played? I've played a couple times. I got yelled at a lot, but that's okay. That's why
I get that from Deadlock. You can't convince me to play another MOBA. It's not happening.
That's the new one. Is Deadlock the new one? I've seen my buddy play.
New game.
Is it good?
The game is good. That game is like crack cocaine. You can't. I'm hooked. I love that game.
All right, I might be playing that soon. But let's get back to Flesh and Blood. We got a banger for you right now, because thinking about Mastery Pack Assassin, right? It was crazy, right? Last week we talked a little bit about it. We're like, there's no way it's that. Maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. And they went with the most obvious thing. The thing that, kind of I called out on the James White episode. I was like, as a joke. I was like,
yeah, jokingly.
Yeah.
Like, surely it won't be as bad. Brian wouldn't want to pigeonhole himself, right?
Yeah. But like, I think there's a lot of dooming about it. I personally don't subscribe to that dooming, to be honest, because like, I understand there's a worry where Marionette is kind of like this unstoppable force right now, and we've had a lot of assassin in the game for a while. But they have to look forward about that class when it leaves, because we're kind of getting to, I think, that point in the game's history where they can look ahead a little bit and say, okay, we need to plan for these classes so that we don't have terrible lulls like we're having with some other classes. We'll talk about those. But it's important, especially with classes like Assassin, that I think, are fan favorites too. People love this class. So do you have any thoughts or speculations on why they chose Mastery Pack Assassin first?
I have so many. I feel like I actually have like a lot of things I want to say on this. First is like I feel like I am the person that is like in the abstract you see this set and I think it is confusing, right? Because like New came out, she like struggled to find her footing a little bit. I don't really think so, but like that's beside the point. Where my hair is fighting me. Where like Assassin was really, really, really good for basically until New LL. Like she was always shaping the meta as a result of her presence. And then she LLs, there's a little bit of a break. Marionette doesn't really like get that much or lose many predators. I actually truly do think that like what happened with Marionette is somebody eventually found the deck, right? Like it took a while. It took a while. That hero was like not easy to put together. I think it took people a little while to come around on like, what if we're just like spicy warrior? But I think the deck like is really, really, really strong and has been really, really, really strong. And I think you have like of the past 2 years, you do have like basically a year and a half of uninterrupted Assassin is a top 3 deck between like New, Slippy, and Marionette. So I think that like there is this immediate like knee-jerk response of like, what the fuck? But I think if you kind of take a step back and you look at it, I think I had some like really productive conversations about this on social media, which is not what you would expect from social media.
No, that can't happen.
Which is like, I think it does suck to be the person that is in the position of like, my strong hero rotated, but now I literally cannot enjoy the playstyle in Flesh and Blood that I enjoy because, like, for better or for worse, that's where I was when Aurora LL'd, right? I was just like, I actually cannot play a proactive Runeblade. Like, it's not in the game, period. And that sucked. Like, that was where I was at for like a year. And then there's also like, when you're in that position, when you're in those laws, look at Ranger, look at Aurora coming back. There's like these crazy expectations of like, my favorite way to play Flesh and Blood has been gone for so long. This needs to be a banger. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Nobody's ever happy. And I think that like getting out ahead of the lull is like good in multiple ways. I think like, the people who really like the class are satisfied. They can continue to play their favorite thing. And like, B, I think it just kind of helps with expectations a lot. I also think if you want to get speculative about it, you can have the takeaway that there is probably not much, if any, assassin support coming in 2027. Like, I think that is probably not a result, but like, I think like a downstream effect of Mastery Pack Assassin now that I would expect, especially because this is also speculative, but I'm pretty sure the Mastery Packs don't really operate on the same like development time stream as the main sets. I think they're like kind of a side thing. And I think if you're in the position of like, we're planning the next Mastery Pack, we know what the next 3.5 sets are. We know Dromai is coming back. We know like a few other things that people have teased, and you're in this position of like, what class needs support, even if it's going to be the thing that makes people on Twitter mad, which I think should probably not be like part of the equation at all. And that's something I respect about Mastery Pack Assassin, to be entirely clear. I think the like, we are not letting the angry people on Twitter influence our decision making is like, I think you probably do just go like, there's no assassin in 2027. These heroes are going to suck. Nobody likes when you can't play your class for a year. Like, we're just going to nip this in the bud. And I think that it was a confusing reveal, but I think after a little bit of time to simmer on it, I'm like, I think this actually makes a lot of sense. I think it's a good set.
Yeah. It felt like initially, obviously, everybody was furious, yada, yada, yada. And then you just start seeing people like, well, actually, Dr. Mortimer looks awesome.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it's a plague doctor.
I do have one complaint.
What?
Why are we making the codexes stronger? Why are we doing that? Hello?
Listen, Codex of Frailty was always going to be strong. We had to make the other two just as strong, if not
Sure.
stronger. But yeah, that is a good point. But it's just, I was like looking.
That's my one bit of cynicism. It's like, I'll be positive for 5 minutes straight. Let me get in. What the hell?
I was looking at my Codex of Blood Rots after that reveal. I was like, it's your time. It is your time. I love that card. But
I do like that card a lot.
Yeah, I think that there's also, like, I think we could probably also guess there's probably not a lot of warrior support in 2027 either.
Yeah,
based
totally.
on that. I mean, outside of Bolton, probably,
Yeah,
I have to imagine if we
probably
do the light set next year, it's probably going to be, Bolton City. But I think, I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense to make sure these decks these heroes or classes are somewhat playable,
Totally.
in an evergreen way, right? And, I think that that's smart. Now, let's speculate a little bit on the why no Ranger. Now, I did want to bring up something that a friend of the show, Poopy, said on the Table Pit.
Sure.
I believe he brought up this point. Is like, crack shuffle play of Ranger would have been miserable because it would either been fatigue or just high roll. and I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of see that. I don't know how true that was, but it's interesting. There's 2 Rangers in the game right now, Marlin and the real one, Riptide. So why no Ranger?
I mean, I think there being 2 Rangers in the game is like actually like a big part of it, right? Like, they clearly don't like doing talented cards in these mastery packs, right? And that has meant that like Fang didn't get anything in a mastery pack Warrior, like Jarl didn't really get much out of mastery pack Guardian. Like you can see there's like a very clear like, we want to keep these sets simple. They're like an onboarding thing. We maybe release an armory deck alongside them. Maybe that has a new hero, maybe it doesn't. But like there's a very clear thrust of like these products. Part of it is that they need to be, even if powerful, they need to be simple. And when you have 2 Rangers in the game, one of them is the Traps guy, and the other is talented. Like she is a talented hero. Whether you say that whether you agree with me that Pirate is a talent, or you think that being multi-classed is the talent, it is like fundamentally incompatible with the concept of crack shuffle play. So you're now in a position of, if we're designing Mastery Pack Ranger, in the current state of things, we either need to introduce like at least 2 new Rangers, like maybe an armory deck and 1 in the set, which is a lot of dev time. Like making a hero takes a lot of time and effort. Like, or it's just Mastery Pack Riptide, which like I think also nobody wants.
Whoa,
and I think that's really challenging. Okay.
Elly.
I'm sorry, Tommy. I'm sorry.
I want that so bad.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
be
to
the
hurt
only
your
one
feelings.
buying it, but yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, I think like that is the biggest thing, but also like I know that people are clamoring and hoping for the Lexi reprint and the Azalea reprint, and I totally understand that. Lexi, obviously, that is a talented hero, right? So that's going to have to come back in more of a talented set, and then you have Azalea, who could have fit into a mastery pack for sure, but
Totally.
she's iconic. You want that in a main booster set, right? You want that. You want to be drafting her, and you want like a big reveal, a lot like Viserai, right? Like this is like, kind of iconic characters in the game. So like, mastery packs are good for, the homies like Olympia, right? Who's like, kind of, hanging around.
Languishing.
Yeah, languishing.
Yeah, you kind of didn't do anything for like,
yeah,
2.5 years.
Upping some antes. They said, oh, maybe the whole deck is just cashing in your gold for new equipment. And then they decided that's not
value.
Good. Yeah, let's just make them good. And I think it's better for
I
that.
cannot tell you how happy I am that they designed away from Visit the Golden Anvil. That I was like, thank you.
I hated that card. The more I've played with Olympia now, I'm like, why do you even try? Like I didn't like that card so much. It's cool in concept for sure, but that is what it is. So anyway, Mastery Pack Assassin is kind of the process of LSS kind of in process. Like, so I don't know. It's like, it's not like we haven't seen the end result here. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of dooming. There's also a lot of excitement about it too. You know, not to say that everybody's negative about it. I think Dr. Mortimer is a huge hit. I
think he's cool.
Flavor wise. And yeah, Azuri getting all the support is really cool as well. We'll see how the Slippy stuff goes, but you know,
yeah,
what are you gonna do? So I wanted to think of examples of when trusting the LSS process has worked, right? Because we've seen, because it's a card game, and this is what happens. We've seen people doom. We've seen people, you know, lose their minds, and then ends up being okay, right? And it sometimes maybe not. I'm not, you know, I don't want to say sometimes it doesn't, but I want to think of times that were, I think, good moves by LSS, and we should have trusted them the whole time. The first one, I don't think it was necessarily anybody really dooming, but I want to shout out the Remembrance ban.
Yeah,
it's a good one. It's felt so good, right? Like that was just one little tweak that just made the game feel a lot better, in my opinion. So
Remembrance kind of like felt very Art of War to me, but on like the other end of the spectrum, where it was just like, man, I know this is like a legacy card. I know it's been in the game for a long time. I know it's like had a purpose for the longest time. I feel like it's so like long in the tooth. It feels like to compare to a different card game, there's a card that often comes to mind, Mishra's Bauble. If you've ever played Magic, if you know what this card does, that card is just like, it sits there in the format, and it's just this 0 cost spell that replaces itself. And it's just like, this card just sits there, and it just waits for every like 2 years, something stupid comes along and breaks the format in half off the back of Mishra's Bauble, and it just like keeps happening. And I feel like that's kind of where Remembrance was at, where it was just like, Remembrance had moments where it was good and cool. I thought like Lexi's using Remembrance to beat Oldhim was cool, but when we're shuffling back 3 gold main estates like 3 times, and we're just making 700 mites, I'm like, get it gone. It's been too long.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go down a different route with that. It reminds me of Art of War. It's yellow. It's an instant. That's pretty much it.
That's it. There's the only commonalities.
Yeah. So that's like a really good, I think, move, and like it was such a subtle one because people would kind of argue whether it should happen or not because they'd be like, oh, it's just like Fatigue just wins all the time now, but like Fatigue was using the Remembrances too. It's like, you know, they were. It just ended up being a brutal situation. Now, in my opinion, we haven't seen it fully go through this point. Sage rotation, right?
Sure.
I think the game, we need to give it a couple votes. Now, we already had like 1 vote, and I think the first vote felt good because I think the format's all right. Obviously, the Briar thing's a little weird, and the skirmish numbers aren't super kind to this argument. But I do think that now we know we have to vote for Briar, right?
True.
I mean, we're content creators. We have to influence people's votes.
I will not do that.
Well, I'm voting for Kano again.
Sure.
And they're going to let me, I swear. But I think that this was something that people were not so sure about. And I think, honestly, moving forward, it will be a good thing for that format. That's my opinion, though. What about you?
I think that's probably true. I think what I like about it is actually like the developer intervention clause, where they're just like, we reserve the right to be like, if there's a hero we think needs to take a break from the format and nobody votes for them, like we're gonna step in, right? Like they did that with Chain the first time. We haven't gotten to a second season of voting, but I would be pretty shocked. Well, I guess they said they're always doing one, right? They said they're always going to, you know, remove something, which I think is really good, right? Like I think if you have like voting when it's like literally like 1-to-1 ratio of like populace to voice, like populace to influence, weird things can happen, you know, like when it's like every single person just like has the same amount of weight to their voice, and you like maybe we randomly end up with like Blaze, Acilio, Briar Band, and like those are the three. I wouldn't be shocked if LSS was like, okay, we're gonna like really silently also bench old him so we don't just go to hell for a season, right? And I think like that is kind of this like pressure release valve on that system that I think is really smart. I've thought multiple times over that like I think something similar coming to CC if they eventually give up on LL would be like amazing. Like I think it would be so good.
Yeah, it would be tough. I mean, the voting on CC would be crazy.
Yeah, that's challenging.
That's challenging because, you know, people are
I think it would
attached
have to be
these
different.
heroes. Yeah, it would have to be a little bit different. But yeah, no, I think I'm excited for the next vote because
Yeah.
it's always fun to see people talk about it, at least in you know, that form. But something else I put down here is I like, and I think that it's hard to argue against this, but like I like that LSS recognizes that or will recognize stuff and then will alter the course on stuff that is not working out the way they intended, right? I think I look to the Living Legend format push, which was like weird, and like I don't think it was, you know, I think there are a lot of Living Legend format lovers out there, but it's just I think that's totally valid. I think like we saw it be pretty cool in Philadelphia, to be honest. Like it way cooler than you'd think it would be. But it's not where the heart of this game is. CC is, and also, you know, to like kind of not like retire Blitz, but like sideline Blitz and say, hey, Sage, this is what the short hero or the young hero format should be like. I think
Short
that
heroes.
them being able to kind of just, okay, we were wrong about these things. Let's alter the course. I think that is something that is admirable. And, you know, at the time you would say, oh, it's like, well, do they even trust their process? But maybe their process is, hey, we can be flexible, you know?
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think like I also think the like we're putting Blitz to bed, old man was like good because I mean Sage really set out to solve this issue that Fab had for a really long time, which is like where's the format I can spend less than $1,000 on?
Yeah.
Which, you know, there are a lot of decks in CC that I think are perfectly valid pickups, but I think that doesn't really get to the heart of the issue, which is like, where can I spend $20 to play the game, right? And I think that Sage like fills a really important niche, and I think like it probably couldn't exist at the same time as Blitz. I think that is probably too much competition in the same space. I also think that like Blitz just has so many issues. I think like L's and M's are just like so not balanced for 20 life that I don't know. I appreciate and respect that they were just like, this isn't working. Like we're just gonna yank it off stage with the cane, you know?
Yeah, they could have easily decided, oh, we're just going to shake up the format and say you can only play one of M's and no legendaries. But why do that? Like, you still have like Blitz lovers out there. So let's just create something new. And I think that was a good thing. Now, sometimes where the process is a little bit iffy in my mind, you know, listen, I can be critical too, folks, you know. And the first one, and I brought this up to James White himself. Where's the damn Savage Land set? We've clearly just skipped over that region on the map. What is going on? Figure it out, you know?
I feel like the Savage Lands like set kind of like space. I think like Heavy Hitters and Super Slam are actually probably occupying like a very similar space in whoever at LSS's head that is like making these decisions, right? Like I think that I would not be shocked if you told me like we started on a Savage Land set and we thought that it would be more interesting to kind of pivot this off into brutes at the fucking gladiatorial arenas, like that. Yeah, totally. Like that makes sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, 100%. But like, they're like, why not place the deathmatch arena in the Savage Lands? But
Sure,
I digress.
I could see that.
I think there's also, and this is a conversation that comes up a lot in like fantasy, but also or in Flesh and Blood. Like, how do you approach this kind of archaic, like
it's
orcs are dumb, orcs are savage kind of thing? And like, I think they've done a little bit better of a job of it. You know, they've given them some culture in these cards and stuff like that. But I feel like maybe it's just a huge task for them to kind of approach that in the right way.
I think it is. I think it's like a challenging problem to solve. I think like, I don't know. Like, I think the cultural sensitivity stuff is like difficult for anyone making any sort of product that is going to be like widely publicly scrutinized. Like, I think that's just challenging. And I wouldn't be shocked if you also told me that like a huge part of why a Savage Land set is taking so long is because they're kind of trying to steer away from the Savage Lands concept, right? The, you know, it's I think it's like not an easy topic.
Yeah, certainly. Which, like, you know, I emphasize with them. Not emphasize. Empathize.
Empathize.
I'm one of them.
You emphasize your empathy.
Yes.
For the situation they're in.
Yeah. It's been a long day, folks. But yeah, the Savage Land, you know, this is like more like kind of in like there's fans of the Brutes. They want to see the Savage Lands. It was on the map. So, you know, I think until we get it, like what's going on. And maybe now it's like weird because now the pressure is even more.
Yeah.
You gotta nail it.
True.
You gotta nail it. So I have one other note, and I'm gonna turn it over to you, but like the only other thing that I've been iffy on the LSS process is like how playable certain fables are, right? This is something that comes out like, you know, like comes up a lot, right? In the community and, you know, in my wallet. And cause like, you know, I haven't built like a new deck outside of like RKO and Riptide for a while, right?
Sure.
Olympia comes along. I'm like, oh, excited to
Rich's Eye.
Yeah, Riches. And I was also looking at the blue one that says your D reacts cost one more.
Oh, Authority of Attaya.
Yeah, Authority of Attaya, yeah. And I'm looking at both of them. I'm like, I don't need them.
Do I need these? Yeah.
I don't need them. I'm like, I don't. Like, I'll play something that blocks, you know, and that's just, that's all right. And I'll tell myself that's okay. But they're so cool. And you know what? Maybe the Authority is not like necessary, but the Riches kind of feels like it's necessary, right? So like,
you can get like 75% of the way there with Gorganian Tome at least.
Yeah, I guess so.
Kind of, sorta. Yeah.
Kind of,
A
little bit.
I feel like half the power of Riches in that deck is like you just like crack a gold and replace it, right? So it's kind of like
yeah. I mean, it's just like nice to like not lose your gold, right? And I think that's just it. And you don't really need it, to be honest. Like anybody out there looking to build Olympia, you don't need these cards, but
you don't need it.
I started thinking about it
though.
When I was looking at the like, you know, the listings. I was like, you know, and then I was like, okay, you know, I'd rather just buy another box of Mastery Pack and see what I crack. You know, maybe I'll get a cool sword, but that's where I'm at.
You can trade
I don't know.
for an Authority of Attaya.
Oh yes, but then I lose the cool sword, Elly. What the heck?
That's
man.
True.
There's trade-offs, but yeah, I don't know. And obviously, they talked about the fabled rarity kind of going away, which is good. I think this is where I'm iffy, but like, okay, let's see, you know, how that plays out when they stop making them. But also, you know, on the flip side of that, the ones that exist are still expensive. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is though. You know,
I thought that like kind of a funny thing with the fabled reprints was that the non-foils ended up more expensive than the rainbow foils because people want the option to play with non-foil copies of their cards, which is like, it makes sense why that would happen, but it's like kind of a humorous like knock-on effect of that. The fabled rarity disappearing is really interesting to me. I think like I am happy to see gems kind of go away. I like appreciate and see the vision on gems, right? They're kind of supposed to be these like ultimate like collectible like piece. It's like you hit the nut, like you hit the card. This is the chase card. I think the mechanically unique ones are a little so-so because they they kind of either have to be unplayable or like if they're good, it kind of sucks. Is like the whole thing. But I kind of want to point out like the fabled CNC as like something I think could be a good use for for like the fabled rarity. I thought like the fabled CNC was interesting because I think it drove a lot of sales of a set that was otherwise like not so impressive. I think Dynasty was like okay, right? Dynasty had the classic supplemental set issue of like we need to not support a class that is already really good. So you have a bunch of cards in the set that are just like bad on purpose. They like maybe expand other avenues of play, but those other avenues of play are like not powerful, specifically to skirt making something too strong. And supplemental sets had a lot of problems, but the Fabled CNC was really cool and exciting, and it was like the staple piece that everybody loves in this like really insane new treatment. And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was like a great use for that like Giga Chase rarity. How different that is from Marvel's is like maybe there's no meaningful distinction, right? Maybe that just like doesn't matter. But I think if they were going to keep using the Fabled rarity, I think like axing mechanically unique Fableds, but continuing to do like Fabled CNC, like the Marvel E-Strike is like functionally a Fabled, right? I think that is pretty cool and interesting.
Yeah. And like, you know, I'm not somebody who needs bling, but when I see it, I'm like, that is pretty cool. You know, when I see somebody play those Fabled CNCs, I am scared, right? You know, not because of my arsenal being threatened, but, you know, that means they mean business. They're like, not only am I playing CNC, it's this one. But
it's this one.
I think, but do you have any other, you know, iffy things, you know, that you are, you know, wondering where the process is going with LSS or stuff where you just think that it's going great or terrible?
I think like, yeah, I was going to say, I am like, I feel like I've harped on it too much with Aurora is like kind of my thing. I don't really want to keep hammering on it. I was really disappointed that this hero came back and she was not good. It's like, whatever, but I do think she's fun. I do think there were good things about that set. So again, like, I don't really want to harp on it too much, but that hero's return was a really big letdown for me. The flip side of that is like, I feel like I just keep talking about like more recent events. It's like something a little bit older. Heavy hitters into Mistveil. I think like Mistveil has been kind of a controversial set over time just because like I think anything beyond a certain power level threshold is going to fundamentally be divisive because people don't like losing to the same thing a lot. People don't like seeing the same decks a lot. And I think that is always a symptom of these things. But for the most part, I feel like heavy hitters was like this meta that I enjoyed it, but famously it was like panned for, I feel like I'm hitting people with pool noodles, like nobody's doing anything exciting. We're sitting here like blocking 2 cards, sending 2 cards back and forth forever. Like there's nothing fun and flash and boom. The 3 most powerful heroes the game has ever seen. And I think like there are definitely like moments of that. I kind of feel like we're like on a bit of maybe like hopefully not quite the same power level. I think like we're kind of on track to repeat that a little bit. I feel like people are kind of talking about how the game feels a little too like flaccid at the moment, like things aren't super exciting, but then they're like, here, check out this set that what did James say? He was like viscerize the Darth Vader of Fab, like he has to come out hot. And I think that they like for better or for worse actually do have a pretty good finger on the pulse of like when things are getting stale and when something needs to come out a little bit hot and exciting. I feel like I had something else I was thinking about on this like exact topic. The follow-up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna make a pool noodle joke because I love that meta. And, you know,
sure.
I talk to a lot of people who remember heavy hitters quite fondly, and I'm one of them. So, you know,
totally
bring on the pool noodles.
It's different strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah.
But I think like, and that's the other thing of like such a large game. It's really hard to please everybody. I feel like there was kind of this fear coming off of Part of the Mistveil for the people who liked the pool noodle meta that they were like, that set was so powerful. Like, what does the next thing look like? And I think historically Rosetta has been quite a powerful set, but I think it was really good that their answer to like, how does Rosetta compete with Part of the Mistveil? Their answer was like, don't worry, it doesn't. Like, we're not doing that. Like, these heroes are powerful. I think Rosetta is kind of the, like, platonic ideal of a powerful fab set for me. I think it's, like, a really good, like, sweet spot of, like, these are strong. They don't dictate the entire game. They're not, like, so uncounterable. They've all gotten their chance to be the best deck at some point. Like, I think that's fine and healthy, but they're not, like, you literally can't play the game against this hero unless you are also playing a hero from the set. Like, that's not really what they did there. And I liked that there was this follow-up of, like, don't worry, we're just not doing that. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it is funny because, like, you know, looking back on Rosetta, because you just, like, if you look at it from, like, the outside, you're like, oh, wow, all 4 of those heroes so powerful, right? And then you're like, oh, well, at different times, right?
Yeah.
You know? It was staggered. It was almost, like, ideal in that way. Like, Mistveil was like, oh, Zen's really powerful, but I guess also Enigma and Nu are really powerful.
Yeah, it was just like these 3 heroes are the meta triangle. Like, whatever you thought the 3 heroes that were good into each other in a triangle shape before was, no, sorry, now it's these 3, right? Which is like, I think Rosetta's a lot better.
Well, now, usurp the Shadow Throne. What are we thinking here? Is this the new Mistveil? What do you think?
I think there's basically no way. I feel like with the cards we've seen, I would be really, really shocked if we were on like a Mistveil power level. Mistveil definitely had some stinkers, you know, like some of the early spoilers were things like Aspect of Tiger Body, which is like powerful, but you know, like that hero got some other things that were a lot stronger, like Chase the Tail. I think like we've seen some powerful cards. I've seen my spoiler. That card's powerful. Excited to just plug in that one. Excited to share that one.
When is that going live?
September 5th. I kind of been going back and forth. I like the power level of the set. I think it's like interesting. I think things are clearly like engaging and exciting, but also kind of tied to like synergy and decision making. And it seems like there's a little bit less like raw, this card is so messed up power, and a little bit more like you can spin your wheels a lot, but when the individual gears kind of tooth together, when they kind of bite and start turning, it seems like it really does some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was thinking today, and this is the last thing I'll say on Shadow Throne for a while, but not for a while, probably till next week because we'll see more.
Probably
spoilers.
till next week.
Yeah, until next Thursday. Levi is kind of getting to this point. It was like she's gonna have so many cards. How do you build? Like you're just it's like a huge puzzle. Like, what will be the best build of this? And will Ethan build it? Is the question.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, for sure.
Now, we do have some listener questions. I forgot to put them in our doc, but I'll read them from the Discord here, which is where you submit them, the Buzz Discord. And first of all, Dr. Unks came in really late for a question for James. Has anybody ever told you you kind of look like Orlando Bloom? We'll let him answer that one in the comments.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, I can see it.
That's kind of true. That's kind of true. That's a very favorable comparison.
Yeah. Now we have a couple questions, all together about, because we're going to be entering Fab 3.0.
True.
First, without knowing what Fab 3.0, this is from Junior, without knowing what Fab 3.0 is, what do you think Fab 4.0 will be? That's obviously a joke, but
digital client.
Yeah, probably, maybe. And then he also said, without knowing what .0 is, what is Fab 0.0?
Fab 0.0.
But William said, without knowing what Fab 3.0 is, what is it going to be?
Can I answer this one with a question?
Yes.
I feel like I have this thought on Fab 3.0, which I don't really mean for it to sound cynical, but I think it will, which is when it comes to Flesh and Blood 1.0 to 2.0, with Uprising, and they announced Fab 2.0, I feel like my question is how did how you engage with Flesh and Blood change? Because for me, I think it didn't really I don't really like the difference between Fab 2. There's the comprehensive rules change, which I think is great. I think that's awesome. But I think there's this question of how did how you engage with Flesh and Blood change? Because I think for me, outside of Marvels being introduced to the game, which was cool and exciting, and them axing first edition, it's tangible effect on how I interact with Flesh and Blood was not that large. So it's kind of like what are you hoping to see? Like what do you want to see? I feel like there are like a few things I could speculate on, but it's like really hard for me to say like what do I think this is? Like I don't know, maybe they start putting folded hundreds in the packs.
And I still wouldn't open them. Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, like I think it was just like a net positive, right? Like the first edition, thing was weird and I don't know. It felt like it didn't feel archaic until we made the switch. So it was like whatever.
Yeah, you didn't think about it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, my life is just different now, right? With this game and how I purchase it, basically. So, I expect that kind of change as well. I don't expect anything big on the gameplay side of things.
Yeah.
In Fab 3.0, maybe 4.0, Junior, who knows? But 3.0?
That's when we had chess pieces.
Chess pieces, yeah, and miniatures.
There's positional combat.
But I think it will. I mean, something will change. I mean, I feel like the fabled rarity going away is already kind of
that does feel very like
spoiling it.
Right?
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. It's interesting. Junior also asked here, what will the Assassin multiplayer box be called? Because we got the Smash Palace Chorus of Steel. He also said bonus points if anyone says Ass Palace.
That really got me. I could bounce a coin off that palace.
Yeah, oh my Lanta. Holy smokes.
I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like what we've done, like it was literally just Smash Palace, right?
And then there Chorus was of Steel, yeah.
Chorus of Steel.
I don't know. I think Ass Palace. We'll take the bonus points on this one. The thick war.
The sick war.
Oh, amazing. Cole for Backup, aka Mr. Viz, aka Gary, asked, how does Elly feel about Bolton in Silver Age? We have some local players and the deck feels nasty in capital letters.
He is nasty. He's nasty. Longsword leggings. I mentioned it last week too. Those are so good. They're so crazy. Making a flurry. You just like block one, end your turn with go again, make a flurry. So good. I like Bolton and Sage. I feel like Sage is usually where I'm like trying to do something funky. My like current pet project with Sage has been triple swing Quicksilver Dorinthia with the Dawnblade Resplendent. You get like, you like get a flurry, and then it's like because you already get the second swing from the go again, you kind of like use stuff that gives go again on the second swing. It's a lot of fun. So I haven't played that much Bolton is like kind of my answer, but I do think he's really good. I think Edict is like very much a classic constructed power level card with a blue stamp on it, right? I think that card is like super strong. Yeah,
it really is. William asks, who will be the biggest winner out of Mastery Pack Assassin?
I hope Azuri. I feel like this is kind of like my thoughts on that set, which is like, I feel like if we come out of that set and the biggest winner is like Arachne Marionette and Arachne Slip Through the Cracks, I think that set has kind of failed a little bit. I think that's like my one like negative criticism about the set is I feel like if we're buffing the assassins that are already good just as much or close enough to just as much as the old ones, it's like I don't really think we've succeeded. But if it's like what they did with Olympia, where it's like, did Kasai and Dory get very much out of Mastery Pack Warrior? No, not really. But if we come out of it and like Dr. Mortimer is the sweet new deck, and you've got like Azuri reinvented, like big thumbs up. So I'm gonna hopefully answer that question with Azuri.
Well, I'm sorry to say, Elly, it's Riptide is the biggest winner.
It's Riptide. Because everybody's playing attack reactions now.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. Also, I'm not going to rule out the odd chance that we get some Riptide cards and some maybe Azalea cards.
Sure, like hybrid cards, Assassin Ranger.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah, there's with the diseases too. I mean, Riptide loves those diseases. He has them. But
I guess we'll see. Does.
Sigma asks, has Elly tried the funner, more powerful ways of Medex Rhinar? If yes, what's her opinion on it?
I have played. I think I have a deck that you'll like more though. This is my on-air live response. I call it Mauve Shrill Rhinar.
Okay.
Where
Right.
you put step 1, 9 barraging beatdown.
Yep.
Step 2, 9 aggressive pounce.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Step 3, romping club.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And so just like you do like the Mauve Shrill thing, but every turn you just go like intimidate you like 4 to 6 with go again into the club off of like Tunic or whatever. Try that on for size.
Oh, I mean, listen, it's a Reinhardt deck. There's an odd chance that deck would just somehow end up in the top.
It'll win games.
It'll
win
worlds
games.
or something. Yeah, yeah.
It's like, keep just swinging really the pickaxe.
Did okay in the CC rounds, and then just really rock the Silver Age rounds or whatever worlds is going to be. But it'll probably be IAR draft, right?
That's true.
I don't know. It's probably already announced. And then finally, Derek, aka Deathnor, asked, "Have you started brewing Killjoy or Zane yet? Who do you think has more legs? Is Killjoy a centaur? Does Killjoy have more legs?
Killjoy is the like drow type character.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Zane's the big guy. The big
Zane's
guy.
a big minotaur. He has more arms.
Yeah.
Well, he has 2 arms.
He has 2 arms, but each arm is like 2
arms.
arms. Yeah. I think those guys are cool. I haven't started working on them yet. I guess they are legal in Silver Age. That is like something I hadn't really reflected on. No, that's a good call to action though. I'm a sucker for Searing Emberblade, and he has 2 of them.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty scary. I don't know about Killjoy, but Zane is certainly a little scary. Yeah. So we'll see. We will see. Now, those are all the listener question, folks. Another great episode in the books, Elly. Honestly,
I think so.
You know, we really brought a lot to the table, and we're going to continue to do so every week. Now, where can people find you, Elly, so people know where to get you?
It's ellybird.bsky.social. That's where you can find me. Eventually, I'll start putting more stuff on my YouTube channel, but I'll plug it when that matters.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sometimes in the casting booth. We'll see.
Listen, hopefully more soon. Look out for Elly's spoiler, which you'll probably post on YouTube or Blue Sky.
Maybe. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
You got a couple weeks.
We'll
You got one of the late ones. I keep forgetting they're gonna go.
It
for
is
that
pretty
long.
late. It is pretty. It's like September 5th. It's I think it's a pretty good card to like. I think it's a good late spoiler season card. I feel like it's one of those cards that like, just to tease it a little bit, I feel like it's one of those cards that like you kind of see it late in the process and you're like, oh.
So they reprinted Azalea in a IAR. That's why there's no
sure, yeah. It's Azalea.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious if I guessed that and like afterwards you have to cut that.
I'm like, Tommy, no.
But anyway, people can find me on Blue Sky at freshbudspod. And then if you watch on the YouTube, give us the old like, comment, subscribe, and been loving everybody commenting a lot lately. It's fun. And then check out the Buds Discord, Patreon, and Fresh Juice, the indie game podcast I do with my cousin every week. You said you were excited to talk about food this week, Elly.
Oh yeah.
What?
I found. Like chain restaurant. Have you ever had the Halal Guys?
Yes, I have. There used to be one right by my school.
Oh hell yeah! I found a recipe recently that like 1-to-1 mimics their white sauce, and I am over the moon about it. I'm like, it's so good. It's unreal good. I've made like yellow rice and like spiced beef with a bunch of veggies. I made it like 3 times in the past month. It's so good.
The white sauce is good. Do you get like the little spicy hot sauce in there too, or are you into spice?
I love spicy food.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I got 5 hot sauces in the fridge. I'm not, yeah.
So do I. And then I get a new one and I open that one.
Yeah.
And,
I have it twice and then it goes to the back of the fridge.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, this has been fun again. folks, we'll see you next week. Please stay